All right, so this part is going to be the steering shaft. Now, mind you, I did overfill this, so it's leaked already. But see this right here? This little deal in between this angled cut? That's a flex disc they put in these. Just gives like a little bit of flexibility control, I guess. There's a bolt here. There's the disc. And then there's another bolt up here, and there's a knuckle. Well, I think we're going to change out that disc. We're going to try to get a new disc there. I have no idea about that knuckle. I might have to just see if we can tighten something up. We're going to have to take this shaft out in order to do that. So, yeah, let's start on that. We need a 10 on there. I have no idea what the other one's going to be. So, let's get up in there and do that. It does work better if you unlock the steering wheel. Turn it a little bit. Alright, now I'm gonna need that 10, and with this big gigantic wrench I'm gonna need as much extension as I could get. I might even need to use a U-joint here. Any which way. These little, if you ever had a Ford, and you know these little caps leak. It's not actually a defect in it, believe it or not. It is a manufactured design. There's a vent hole in there. So what happens is your fluid gets hot and it expands. Well, that vent hole. See, this is good old Ford lock for you. That vent hole the fluid expands, and so instead of damaging the seal on the reservoir, that vent hole basically allows for air to escape as well as extra fluid. You just happen to put too much in there, and when I replaced the gearbox here, I did just that. I put way too much in there. As you can see, not the greatest room for short extension ratchet. And I tightened that guy on there pretty good when I put it together. So we're going to go to the auto parts store and try to find a replacement part for this. They sell disc kits that you can buy. So we're going to go look for one of those. But I would like to have this thing out so that I can match up instead of having to make 50 trips. I'll hate doing that. Okay, so in order to get this end off, I'm pretty sure it's probably gonna be the same on the top end, but I know for a fact on this end it's a pinch clamp, but it's a dual function. It pinches around the gear teeth to make it tight, but it also, the bolt is key to it, because this bolt goes through here, and there's actually a groove on the shaft of that bolt goes through, so it can't slide off. Now if you've got a flathead screwdriver, works good for this. If you don't, then some kind of prying tool. You're going to need something to help you kind of push this off there. As you can see, I'm having some difficulty there. Well, there we go. And yes, it might take a little bit of force because that shaft here has this joint. That joint has to come out. What I can also do while I'm here and there messing with this is this little deal here. Well, no, it's not open all the way. Okay, so it won't come off. Alright, any which way, get up in there and we just try to pop it loose. It's gonna, you might have to wiggle it a little bit, but it'll go. It'll give. It's gonna take a moment or two to do so. Being careful when you're pressing on shit. You're not pressing on things you don't want to break. Yeah. Camera placement on my head might not be the best either right now. That's okay, I'm not even worried about that. Just whatever you can get in there to pry on it to pop it back. What you're actually kind of doing is fighting two things. The wheel itself, which is, I think, locked, and this joint, which is supposed to be tight so that it doesn't have any issues there. Alright, so now we got this bolt here that needs to come out. So we're going to rotate this thing full 180 degrees upside down on the steering wheel, being careful not to overdo it. And see, that's what we're fighting too. So being careful not to overdo it, that we grab onto something in here with this shaft and we break it. Remember, if you turn that wheel, you're gonna have to turn it back when you put all this together, so keep that in mind. Oh, you don't get your steering wheel out of sync. Well, in this case, there's no items in there that I have to worry about too much. Okay, there's our bolt. We're gonna try turn it like that, maybe. Yeah. All right, so we're gonna need, definitely that 10 is gonna be too small. So we're gonna need to get something else. Oh, that was a 10, so let's move up the run here. We had a 14, got a 15, a 16. It's gonna be one of these three. Should be one of these three. I could be wrong. So there I go, jumping back on top because that's hurt the knees a little bit. 14, no. We're gonna jump up to that 16. You know what? That's our guy. That was gonna be one of them. Say which one it was. It was going to be one of them. We're using 1/2-inch drive for this stuff. It's a little more bulky, but it does allow you to get more leverage instead of 1/4-inch or 3/8 drive, which don't give you a lot of leverage unless you're putting a cheater on there. So we just have to kind of work around some of the items we got here. These are 12-point sockets, so realistically I can put them on any way I choose to. This bar should separate from here. Either I just stripped it, or this socket is actually too big. Yep, that socket is too big. So let's go with our 15. Unless it was that 14 after all, which could be the case. That 15's kind of snug, but there's some junk on there too, so it might take a sec. I might have to loosen some of that stuff off. Now, here's the fun part. You gotta kind of hold one end while you mess with the other. Otherwise, it'll turn and slip off. So, being careful with that. Okay, here we go. I believe it's a flat shaft this goes on to here. So we just got to keep orientation in mind. So orientation is going to be a key. All right, now hammer is going to be a little brutal to use in here, so I'm going to use the end of my ratchet just to kind of pop that bolt out of there, but we might actually have to use our hammer. Okay, let's turn this because he's getting a little caught is getting a little caught on the ends over here. Okay, just slid them up, a little loose now. And when we turn it this way, you can see, probably see what is on. It's holding it. See that clip there? This thing's going around a shaft, basically. There's a shaft probably right there. So we're gonna need to knock that bolt out of there. This might get a little fun, because given the amount of room, I'm not gonna have a lot to mess with. Well, that's okay. It's when we got smaller hammers and stuff that help with that. If you're gonna hit the end of a bolt though with a hammer, take the nut, put it back on there. That way you've got kind of a flush surface. And the reason for this is to break them loose. You're going to be putting way more force on there than the bolt's intended for. You don't want to damage the threads. By putting that nut back on there, I just protected those. And I can probably just light tap it out now. We'll see here in a minute. Looks like this is a clip of some sort. Yes, it is. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mark the end of this, a little scratch or something, the end of this, that the nut goes on. But that I deem is the top. Alright, now we have our this side out. I'm going to raise it up. I want to try. I'm going to probably have to give her a little bit of a beating, get her off. You could probably use a crow's foot wrench for this. I have one, but it's yet again back in the garage, so working for me right now. I'm gonna try to wiggle it here. Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord. We're just gonna have to keep beating on her till she comes off. And then once we get her cleaned up, get all this gunk off there, she'll actually go back on real easy. There we go. He's off. Okay, that's our lower end steering shaft. Alright, so you can see here, here's the problem with this. This disc here is so worn out that it's flexing too much. Now they make a kit to repair these. You know, want to know what the fun part of that kit is? Initially these are riveted on, which means you're gonna have to somehow get those rivets off. But then they sell bolts. The kit comes with the bolts you can just put them back together with. And see, this here has the same thing. It has a slotted groove that's a witness to that gearbox. So before I go take this in, I'm gonna go clean it up a little bit. Then I'm gonna take it over to my local auto parts store. We're gonna match this guy up to see what we can replace it with. And again, I'm in the understanding I'm gonna have to grind these off and press them out. But that's not gonna be the end of my day, so we will go from there. Best part is since I got it off, I can take it and get it matched up to get another one Remember, I made a witness mark here. There we go. Here's what I'm going to do before I go taking this apart. I'm going to make the same witness mark on the shaft. And vice versa onto that plate there. That way, once I do decide to go take this thing apart, we'll be fine. Okay, you see there's our shaft movement basically. The other thing to look at, see in here, we got a knuckle. This is kind of a pressed in deal. And then they've got this little boot on here. Well, this boot's shot. We want to check out this knuckle to make sure it's not going to have any issues. Not be causing us any other problems. You see we got some grease in there. And we're going to look in there and see if there's also a nut like the steering wheel one to be able to tighten it up. Because if there is, we're good. If there isn't, though, then there isn't. And this is what it is. But I can tell really not much play there. There's not much play in this shaft either. So the rest of our play ultimately rides in this disc. So right now I'm going to close this up. There's not more we can do in here until we go get some parts. And I'm going to cut the video until we get to that point to, you know, what do we call it? Until we get to the point where we're going to fix that. Till then, there's no more for me to figure, and you guys don't want to watch me trying to degrease this thing anyway, so. Alrighty. Alright, so we got our shaft. Place the disc, new disc in there. Fresh coat of paint, of course, on our shaft, so we're ready to put this bad boy back into place. So let's see how well that's going to work. Apparently I've got a leak. I think one of my high pressure hose on this power steering pump has gone bad, so might be time to get a new one, I guess. Flat spot goes to the bottom, or so forth. The bolt was kind of actually on top, so let's put this back together as soon as I figure out where the rest of it is. Alright, here's our clamp piece. Well, that's our piece that needs to go through, so let's put this guy in there. First things first, I'm going to do is I'm going to shrink this. Why? Because that makes it easier to put it in place. Alright. Now, the pain in the ass was getting this thing off that tube. So let's see how it's going to go back in without being another pain in the ass. I about had to pound it off there. So let's see here. Okay. You can reach in there. Oh yeah, that's gonna be a tight son of a bitch. Oh really now? You're gonna be like that. I guess these edges or something. I don't know what the hell it is. All I know is that's gonna be really tight going on there. There's some grease on there though. Oh, that'll help. But shouldn't have to pound it, but it might be more of the case of what's going to have to happen here, because I don't think we're going on there that easily. I don't want to pound it if I don't have to, but it's not doesn't look like I don't have a choice in that matter. The bigger question is, how am I going to hit it on there? Need to unlock our wheel. Okay. Steering wheel is unlocked. There's my good old pound me hammer. This actually wasn't that bad. It's in there. I gotta take this guy and put him in the other side. There we go. That's in there. I take this nut, put it back onto there. That guy about covered all my play. Actually might be very happy with this. Let's see which one this was. It was a bigger one. There's 15. I think that was it because the 16 was a bit small. And then make sure when we put these back in here that we make sure they're tight. Do not want those loose because we do not want this thing coming apart on us while driving. That would be really bad. This thing pulls tight in there. Okay. Well, actually, that's probably why it was tight, because it probably pinched this whole thing into place. Alright, we're in there. Like I said earlier, 1/2-inch wrench, more leverage. Okay, that's tight. Alright, now we got to get this guy onto the bottom. Just feeling around to see where that non-toot spot was. It's over here on the left. Alright, and the same thing over here. We're going to feel that non-tooth spot is. It's down there on the right. Turn this thing until we get to where we need to be. I would probably right now want to make sure one thing before I go to put this thing on here. Or actually, you know what? No, let's put it on there. I mean, I want to make sure this bolt goes on there. Am I able to fix it? Yeah, I'm able to fix it. What's the matter with you? That bolt gonna give us an issue? It might, because it's proximity to the other one. Well, that's okay. We'll mess with that one a little bit. Alright. Well, we've got to slide our shaft back out. Well, where's our flat spot? That's what's actually over there to the right. So we do need to turn this baby this way. Hey, somebody's doing something here. I think we found her. Yep. Right there. Remember, brand new tight deal, so I had to put some pressure on her to get it back in there. Ultimately, all I want to do is much pressure without having to pound it as best as possible. That does not look like that's going to be the case. I am having to do the pounding because alright, there we go. There we go. Get in there. Alright, let me get that guy into there like that. Just make sure that you're going to be able to get her in there. Have to pull back a little bit. This was a bit easier to... Yeah, my power steering pump is definitely leaking. Being forced to put shit on isn't always the answer. I'm trying to figure out better ways to do this, and I haven't yet found one, so looks like that's what we're doing. I don't know. Say hello to YouTube, Mother. I'm not editing the video, by the way. Alright, so that's a little much. Yeah, I know. There we go. So it doesn't go all the way down. It goes in there, but not all the way. Okay, so that one bolt that we had there is actually going to have to come out of place. Or we're going to have to turn it around and do it the opposite way. So for that I'm going to need 10 and 13. Alright. Once that, or we change that bolt out to like an Allen head, but no, I'm not doing that. Alright, so we're going to take a little break here for a second. It's getting a little warm. Alright. We've got to take out this one set of bolts that we put into here, just the one, because it's interfering with our bolt that keeps our little guy here in place. We definitely don't want him coming out of place. So we gotta loosen that guy off, or take that guy off. Loosen, take him, one of the two. You know what I mean. Let's see how fun it's gonna be to do this with the ratchet here. Alright, looks like it's just gonna be the nut because I don't think I'm taking off. Bolt out the other end. And I guess it wasn't that great of an idea to put the bolt there in the first place, huh? Or maybe I should have put the bolt straight up, but then we're into the issues of other things here. So now it's going to be if I can get a damn wrench onto that, because it's cocked over at such an angle. Actually, I'm sitting here doing this from up here, and I realize I can probably just go right through this wheel well here and do it there. And plus, that'll give me hindsight to look at how this shit's lined up at anyways. Yeah, see, I might have an issue with that because that stern wheel's upside fucking down. I'll lock that for right now. Just got the realization that she had popped that placement there. Alright, that brought him closer to me. The question is, can I get the damn wrench onto him? It's a 10. It's supposed to be 10. And there we are. Okay, we're on him. Alright. The fun part is getting that damn nut off. I use tension lock nuts. Which means what? Well, it means that it's going to take some turning to get these things off. And at this point, since we're on here, I can only take it's going to be small turns at a time, I guess. Yep, I'm doing this with the power steering pump in place. That's causing us some issues. Of course, go figure, right? Oh, this thing's a pain in the ass. Well, it's a pain in the ass when it's off. I was thinking just to use lock nuts or lock washers, but then yeah, this thing has too much flex in itself. Might actually be a really bad idea. Actually, you know what? Before I get too crazy with this, I got a better idea here. Let me look at this bolt. It's got a built-in washer. How much of it hits? Just a hair, realistically. So when I do this, oh no, we're all the way up against them. Yep, no, it's more than a hair. Alright, yep, nut's gotta come off. I wonder, I just go to tighten this thing all the way down. Can I pop it past there? Well, let's see. It's a 10, right? Oh, see you later. It's gonna work here. This is one of those times where maybe having wrong side socket doesn't help. I was kind of hoping I can get it to just pull past. It's not 100% sure if it will do that. One can hope. I'll go and get a socket and some things to pull that off there with, or push it down. I'm gonna need socket, some extensions. Alright, and I figured out the solution to this. I've got my 10mm on a 3/8 ratchet with a whole bunch of extensions, and we're going to basically force that bolt right past that nut. This is kind of what we're doing right now. Let's see, I still got some play, but she's tightening. Yep, see, we're in there now. We moved. What happened? The nut moved. Before I totally crank that thing, I'm gonna go. Yeah, actually, no, my wheel's locked about straight, and I'm gonna turn it. Wheels are actually turned to the right a little bit, so the wheel's not straight. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have did that though, because look at what it just did. It just screwed me. By the way, shaft's in upside down. Alright. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to have to undo that one up there, and then spin that shaft that goes onto a full 100 and some thousand degrees. Right? Am I onto that bolt? No, because they've got too much of an angle. There, but we're not there. That makes me wonder. Makes me wonder because I'm wondering if I can even get onto it. We're on there, but we're not on there. I'm gonna pull the socket off and find out if I can even grab it or if that nut's back in my way again. No, I can get it. There it is. I think it's just too much of an angle. These are angleable extensions, which don't mean shit. Alright. We know that our lock plate locks about there. This is me jumping back up here. I'm gonna do this from down here. Alright, that's locked into place. We're gonna have to fix that part. Yeah, I know. Locking up the house, I know all about that shit. Ooh, proximity. That always sucks. Look at where we're at here. Proximity to everything else. Alright, well that's a 15. You know what? I'm trying to cut myself from able to walk in and out so much. I brought some wrenches. You're in the red. You park it there, it's gonna get towed. Front bumper can't be into the red. You didn't know that, right? Mother. You gotta go back like a foot. Again, some people just don't know how to park. I wonder where the hell she's going. Oh. What they say, senile and 70 years old. Oh, she's coming. Gotta turn a lot though. There we go. So we figured out that the shaft that we're hooked onto is completely upside down, which means that we need to pop this guy off here, spin it back around. I'm debating, and I just go inside and grab a crow's foot wrench. Not a crow's foot wrench, but a what do you call those things? Ball joint separators or whatever the hell. Yeah, so I'm attempting to go inside and grabbing something like that. So I can grab it from up here. See, right there. I can separate it from right there. That might be what I'm gonna have to go do. Alright, I'm gonna pause. Okay, so we're gonna get back to this. Shaft is in place, but the wheel's upside down, so we gotta fix that. Hi, you're gonna be on YouTube. Parked in a red zone. When I walked inside, she was fixing her stuff, her raw and whatnot. Like nobody noticed, lady. Come on. You're a wee bit obvious. See, this is a whole lot easier than trying to pull on it. Trying to smack it with a hammer. This one's a little loose. That one's about right. Use both of these. The main purpose here is to pop this thing loose. There it is. Okay. So we're actually fighting that joint that's there. Alright, what we're looking to do is turn that wheel 180 degrees. Because right now the wheel's upside down. The wheel's supposed to be like that. That doesn't matter because that wheel can turn a million times and it won't hurt it. There's no actual wires twisting, it's pin contacts is what it is. Alright, now to put this back in, you're going to have to get a little interesting with it. This is actually easier to put in with shaft off, but oh well. Alright. This just requires some strength. Well, strength and some tapping. Tapping worked the last time. Okay, here's my hammer. Because my wrist actually has a bad spot on it, so I don't want to hurt myself. Well, need something to hit that with. Yep, this is gonna be a little fun. Our joint here is really tight, which I'm actually liking that because there's no play, but when you need to go and actually slide one of these things back in here, they don't work very well, especially because that part pinches closed. So let me get this shit out my way. And I think what I'm going to do is, no, I'm going to try to use the hammer. That's probably the best way to go at this. I have to hit from the engine block side because that's it. You look there. Yeah, that's it. We're actually a little too far in. So let me get this guy here, put him in there. I'm gonna line up that hole. Or is it a hole, or what the fuck is that? It's not a hole, it's it looks like it's just a fucking grease. Son of a bitch. So I did that for nothing. Alright, so on there, the square side is where the bolt actually goes through. it. Nope. Would actually be something very important there. Let me check this side. Okay, I'm gonna need a pin-like tool. Jeez, I should have brought some more shit with me. Oh well. Alright. Because our hole's not lined up. There's a piece in there that's moving. That's not moving with our part. So I'm gonna get a pin or a punch and use that to line it up. And I have a couple of those already out actually, because I used them yesterday to take apart those rivets. Hey you. Hey you. I'm gonna rub you, but I got black all over my hands, boy. So I don't want to rub you with all that black. Alright, so I got a couple of these. I might as well grab my bigger hammer, just in case. He's working on that bone. Still working on it. He jumped up because he wanted to play, but I can't play right now. I've got to finish this deal so that I've got a working truck. Without a steering shaft, can't drive it. That's about 11, 12 o'clock-ish right now. I've got to go to work at 5. That means that this thing has to be ready to drive at 5 o'clock. There's that conundrum. Let's see which way I want to go with these. See that? That right there is their alignment. I need to figure out how the hell I'm going to hit that. That one works perfect. Works perfect except for the factor that it's in a spot where tapping might be an issue. Can I get this hammer past these brake lines? Yes, I can. Basically, all the issue we're having here is really just trying to get this thing into alignment. I just start the damn truck and turn the wheel, huh? Wouldn't that make better sense? I turn the wheel 180 degrees. No loose parts about to fly. No, I don't see anything. That doesn't even really need to be that much. There we go. She just spit. She's coming out of there. Yep. Right out of that housing. Okay, well, we know where our problem is with that. It's probably the actual pump itself. We'll deal with that in a minute. Alright, now see? I got her lined up now. A little more, but that's okay. This was a fine point to start with. And I've got a bigger one right here that I can shove in there and just kind of use it to maneuver. They call these things a redneck's word is a sleever. Sleever. Also used for lining up holes. There we go. I think we're about lined up as we're gonna get. Put her through there. Use a little something to tap her in. There we go. There's our nut. And sometimes you just feel like a nut, and sometimes you don't. Alright, let's start this bad boy back up. And we're gonna do a full 180-degree turn. Ooh. We absolutely have no power steering right now. There's absolutely no fluid inside that unit. It belched. Yes, it did. All right. Where is it squirting from? Looks like it's coming out that unit there, so I might just get lucky and it's only the hose. We'll take that off next. First things first, let's get this damn shaft locked down. All right, that's a done deal. All right, well, there's our shaft. That's installed. Was messing with the 13 and that 10 nut, which is actually right here now. So let me get, let me figure out where the hell my 10mm went to. I think it just fell to the ground, but you never know. So, oh no, 10's right here. Never mind. All right, let me tighten up that guy there I was playing with. I was loosening them up. I'll try to get the other guy onto there. So I want to make sure I am able to tighten that guy. All right, there we go. I'm on him with that wrench. I need to get my 10 into here. Actually, it's on that side. It'll actually be easier. Stick my head into here. It'll actually be easier to grab them from here. I'm not sure yet. So that 10 I gotta grab from right here. Can I get the rounded part of this on there? No, we're too close. I think it's too close to that shaft. It would be nice if the nuts were about the same damn size. Isn't it? This would be nice right now if this thing was a bit larger diameter. Oh, wait a minute. Let me do this. Let me see if that'll make a difference. It will, believe it or not. I only turned it like 50 times, so just gotta find that right point. And it's not 50 times later. Yeah, it looks like I got a bad power steering hose, when I can tell. All this oil came leaking out of there. So, let's change our high pressure line. That car just shut off finally. Oh, she went in the house across the street. Yeah, right. So you know what? I'm starting to think about this. I'll just take off that high pressure line now, because it's basically gonna have to come off anyways, and as of right now it's in my fucking way. So it looks like 13 on the bottom. As I get it broke loose, it's going to be something bigger up top. 13 on the bottom, got a 15 here. Nope. So let's go with that 16. I think just popped real loose. I heard something crack, pop when I put this thing in. Something tells me, there it is. Fitting itself cracked. That's what it was. And unfortunately, it's actually the O-ring is shot too. Yep, see that got cracked there too. Means I could also be messing with my threads. Alright, get back to that 13. These out of the way. Well, worst case is if this doesn't, I can't find one, I can always put another O-ring on the end of that one for the time being. That's what that looks like too. It looks like that O-ring's bad. Hand spin that. Can and I can't. Like it wants to, but it doesn't. Let's see if there's another way I can get at that. There we go. I'll go take a little trip up to my local auto zone and buy me a $30 hose, all because of a bad crack fitting. I couldn't know all my fluid's gone. Well, $6 for a quart of that shit at the AutoZone. And it's gone. So there's our power steering. Alright, back down to here. Now we can get in there and really crank that guy. It's Wednesday up here, so Wednesday means up here is trash day. Alright, stern shaft's done. I'm going to call this the end of this video on how to tighten up your steering. Now, this may not make my steering 100% tight, but after all the work I just did between the steering wheel bushing, the knuckle, and the flex disc down there, that should be adequate enough to reduce about an inch off it. We'll know once I'm able to start the truck, but I'm not going to drive. I'm not really going to start it right now in the condition that hose is in, for the mere purpose of there's no fluid in the power steering pump. If you put fluid in there, it's going to piss it back out right now, and all that's going to succeed in doing is burning out that pump. That hose cost about 20 to 30 bucks. That pump cost about 60 to 70 dollars. And I still have to replace the hose regardless. So I'm going to replace the hose and not spend another $70 on a power steering pump. Okay, so I clean these off. Alright, well, if you found this educational or you liked it or whatever, you know, it'd do me a big favor by commenting, liking, and subscribing to my channel. I'll try to continue to find other stuff to upload. I've got 2 old trucks, so there's always going to be something to fix. If you're into Fords, you're into old Fords, and you want to learn something or whatever, comment or, you know, PM me or whatever, and I'll try to help you out as best I can. All right, well, thanks for watching.